Hello ladies and gentlemen, PlayAsia supplied me with this copy of this game, so if you want to support me and the channel, use the link in the description to go and buy something, and there's also a coupon code you can use to save a couple of bucks off your order. You'll be helping me out and hopefully you'll be buying something good. Thanks for your support, enjoy the show. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out DJMax Respect V. I don't know why they called it V. That's honestly a really good question. DJMax Respect originally came out on the PlayStation 4, and now when it's on PC, or on Steam for that matter, because that's the only place you can get it, it's DJMax Respect /V for some reason? I'm not entirely sure why, but well, there you go. This is the latest in the DJMax series from the original publishers, but not the original developers, because most of them left to make Super Big Sonic. I don't know what they're up to at this point. I think they might have been working on something else for a while, but I'd be lying if I said I knew. So we're just going to talk about this for now. And it's worth noting a couple of options in the options menu, which you saw very quickly on this video as it was going by, because this is post-commentary, because I do a lot better on post-commentary these days. I wonder why. Is it because I'm getting shit at talking and playing with my hands at the same time? I don't know. But anyway. So, the thing that's interesting about the options in this game is that they actually give the option to turn off that little ability that makes it so that if you press the wrong button while another note is coming down at the right time, it still counts it, except at a score penalty. That's an interesting idea. Most people usually complain that that's on and they have no way to turn it off. So I'll give them credit for having the option. And another thing I will give them credit for, if you're paying attention to the achievement screen that's on the screen right now, it actually gives you a few options on how you want to go about the game. Now, in this game, you can play with different sets of controls. 4 keys, 5 keys, 6 keys, or 8 keys, and that determines how many things are on the screen. And by the way, they've actually added something new in Respect. There's these sidetrack buttons that you have to press. By default on keyboard, they're left shift and right shift. So if you are thinking that you want to play with 4 buttons because there's only 4 buttons, that's a lie. It's 6 buttons. So you better be ready for that. So you can customize all the controls individually, which is great. And the thing about the achievements that I was going to talk about before I got distracted by the controls is that the way the achievements are actually laid out, the only thing you unlock by playing a certain kind of button style, 4, 5, 6, or 8, is little speech bubbles to use when you're online, and things like little profile pictures. Nothing particularly out of the ordinary for these sorts of games, but it's worth noting that no tracks are locked behind it. So no matter what sort of buttons that you're playing, you'll be able to at least grab everything that's relatively important at the very least. If you want like one of the visual customizations that's behind 5, 6, or 8 and you only play 4 like me, well, good luck with that. That's not going to work out well for you. But I still think that's worth praising. However, this little approach to playing the entire game on one set of buttons because you're not really comfortable with any other set does not carry through to the entire game. I actually got this way back when it first went into early access, and I was hoping that, say, the missions, for example, would end up being the same way as the achievements, where you could play all of them on certain button combinations and you didn't have to like do 5 for some, 6 for some, and an 8 for others. I would hope that you would have been able to go through the entire thing without having to worry about like missions that come up that are on button combinations that you can't do. Oh, I was wrong. That was a little bit disappointing. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, it was actually really disappointing because, yeah, in the mission mode, you have to do 5 buttons. I assume later on they'll make you do 6 and 8. There's 60 missions all up, but when this came out of early access, they also added a DLC pack of songs, which have their own missions. So at least they do give you that if you buy the songs and you want some things to do with them. There's also only 60 missions this time, which is a little bit disappointing considering that I'm not going to be able to get through half of them, assuming that they're going to go to the effort of using all the other button kinds. So let's talk about actually playing the game. So you got a few ways to actually play the game. There's mission, there's brain work with me here. There's Freestyle, which is exactly what it sounds like. You just pick a song and go. There's Air Mode, which we'll get to. And there's, of course, Online, where you go up against other people. I actually didn't try playing online with anyone because with these sorts of games, I know I'm going to get creamed, so I don't bother. It really frustrates me, if I'm being honest with you. So we're focused entirely on the other 3 modes. This is entirely a single-player experience from this guy's point of view. And the first mode that is worth mentioning is Air Mode, which is the mode that is the newest to this version of the game, DJMax Respect. And what is it? Have you ever been on Nico Nico Live before? So there's a thing they do on Nico Nico Live where people can comment on the videos, and at that point where they commented in the video in like that time, they actually have the little messages scrolling across the top of the screen. And depending on what video you're watching on Nico Nico Live, there could be hundreds of them coming across the screen at the same time, basically making the top third of the screen just basically invisible with all the messages on top of it. Not particularly great in my personal opinion. I've never really liked it. I think it would be an absolute nightmare if it turned up on something like YouTube for obvious reasons. And they do that in Air Mode as well. So the idea of Air Mode is that at any time, you can press the enter key on your keyboard and type in a comment, and it'll scroll down the screen when anyone else is playing in Air Mode. Now, this is a neat idea, and they even have like a little autoplay feature that you can press to let the song play in the background so you can go and type something out and then immediately pick back up where you left off. However, this leads to a few issues. The really, really big one being that none of your efforts in Air Mode are saved whatsoever. So you don't get experience points, you don't get any progress towards achievements, your scores aren't recorded in your database, basically nothing. Even if you have the autoplay turned off, and if you have like, basically you play the song regularly every time, like it's just a regular song being played via Freestyle, you still don't get the progress for it. So even though it would have been an absolutely fantastic little idea to just drop into Air Mode, play, and have it all just, you know, come back up for me and, you know, help feedback, unlock new songs and all that for me, doesn't do that. So basically I see no reason to play it, at least while I'm low level, because if I want to be like actually unlocking the rest of the music, because you only start with half of the songs unlocked by default, you have to go and play in Freestyle or Mission. So you can't play like, even in Super Beat Sonic, the arcade mode would give you like progress towards unlocking new songs and being on the high scoreboards and what have you, but this game just doesn't do that. Which really sucks, because it's a cool idea. Being able to play just a randomly generated set of songs and being able to swap between the 3 difficulty levels so that you don't have to worry too much about going into random in Freestyle mode and having it pick out like a song that is so hard that you can't possibly do it. But yeah, it doesn't do anything for my actual progress in the game, so why would I do it? I don't know. I played Air a couple of times, and when I realized it wasn't really doing anything for me, I didn't play it again. And I feel like that's going to be the case for a lot of people, except for like really high-level players that have already finished everything else in the game. And even if I did get to that point where I leveled up enough to unlock everything in the game, I wouldn't want to play Air Mode anymore. Pretty much. So, that's disappointing. So is Mission Mode, if I'm being perfectly honest. Because as I said before, there's only 60 missions, and I'm not going to be able to play most of them, because, well, I suck at these sorts of games, so I wouldn't be able to get used to, like, 8-button setups and all that. I could probably get pretty decently into it. You only have to finish 5 out of 6 missions to unlock the next tier, but as soon as I start adding, like, multiple 5- and 6-button missions that are harder than just your traditional, you know, 4-button stuff, I'd just lose. I would just immediately and instantly lose and just not be able to get back up. The missions are all pretty simple. Hit a certain note accuracy, get a certain score, hit fever a certain amount, don't miss a certain amount of notes. However, it's also given another kick in the balls by certain missions that require you to use certain themes, and there are certain themes which can and will absolutely screw you over. This game has long notes, so you got to press the note down when it comes in, and then you got to let it go once the note's finished. It's pretty simple. However, in certain themes, it's not like the theme that I've got on screen right now, which is like one of the more default themes with regular notes that show exactly where they start and end. In certain challenges, they give you skins that are very, very hard to tell where they start and where they end. And then they add on top of this by doing things like hiding the notes as they come in and moving the lanes left and right so that you have to constantly move your head back to the left and right across the screen. And it makes it almost impossible to tell with certain themes where the long notes are and when the hell you're supposed to actually like press the button and let go of the button. And if you let go of the note too early, it counts as a break. And there are at least 2 themes where it can be very, very easy to fail to be able to tell where the hell that point is. It is ridiculously unfair. I hate it with all my being. Screw 'em, basically. So screw mission mode. I do not want to deal with that shit. So basically all that's left after basically discarding air mode for not giving me any progress and for discarding mission mode for sometimes having ridiculously unfair challenges, even by this series standards. I've played like DJMax Portable 3 and I still haven't managed to get past like tier 4 or 5 of that. Can't remember off the top of my head, it's been years, but still. The only thing that's left is Freestyle, which is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You can pick any sort of like little elements that you want to add to it and then you can just go. I was picking random songs, I was leveling up off them, I was unlocking new stuff, and there's no like actual gameplay mechanics that are locked behind things like unlockables as far as I can tell, other than songs of course, which is fine, that's about what you expect. And to be fair, the actual gameplay, pretty on point. This computer can't hit 240 frames, which is a bit odd. It's an 8700K and an RTX 2080. You think it'd be able to hit 240 frames on a 2-dimensional game, but, well, it is based on Unity, so, you know, hang yourself with a noose if you expect good performance. But yeah, the performance is actually fine. Otherwise, if your computer's good enough to run it, I haven't noticed any problems with, like, notes being out of sync. The keyboard controls have been very responsive, especially since I've been playing on a keyboard with mechanical key switches. You can tell pretty damn easily when you're pressing in switches like that, trust me. And yeah, the actual song library is based purely on what I've been hitting random and coming up with in air and freestyle modes. I'm not particularly impressed. There's a bunch of ones that are just eh. And by a bunch, I mean a lot. So I'm not particularly enamored with this game's soundtrack, but the nice thing is that there's like 150 songs in this game, so at least you get a fair amount of gameplay to go with them, and they usually have at least 2 difficulty settings, if not 3. So that's nice. Really would have appreciated if you could have used those like higher difficulty settings as like alternate missions for people who want to play 4-key and nothing else, guys, come on. But the actual overall like gameplay of this is good. Like, I give it the thumbs up just because it's well polished, it's got no problems with lag or responsiveness, it's got nothing along those lines which would make me consider saying no, this isn't worth the effort. But as most of you who've been watching this channel for years know, and I know there's like 12 of you out there at this point, the overall thing that I like about music games is having a lot of progression to do to really like further myself and my skills with. And considering that 2 out of 3 of this game's single player modes are basically locked off to me for one reason or another, it's disappointing that basically all I really want to do is sit in the freestyle mode, hit random, and hope it doesn't give me a 15 difficulty song when I'm barely past difficulty 10 at this point. And that's not something I like in my music games, I'm going to be perfectly honest. Really wish, like, make it so that Max allows you to progress as long as you agree to do things like not Max, Air. Make it so that Air lets you continue on and, like, get progression as long as you have all the things turned off, like the autoplay. Make it so that the mission mode can be played in 4-key mode and not have to rely on other different kinds of key modes, or just have it so it can be played entirely in 8-key mode. That's fair. I wouldn't be I'd be fine with that as long as the same thing existed for 4 key. That would be great. They'd probably be minor adjustments too, because they've got lots of note charts in this game. I don't know why. But, well, I guess the question I'm saying is this game worth it for the 150 songs they include? Well, maybe if you're a DJMax fan. If I had to pay for this game again, which I haven't because, again, sponsors Play Asia, links in description and all that. If I had to go buy it again, I wouldn't, just because I can't see myself just hitting random and hoping for the best through this game's song library. It's a good game. It plays well. It's responsive. If you're a fan of DJMax, you'll enjoy DJMax Respect and, by extension, Respect V as well. You can play it on controllers if you like. I'm only playing it on keyboard because, well, that's the way I like to play rhythm games that have keyboard controls, because, again, really responsive keyboard. Whether or not I'd recommend it to the casual fan, though, maybe not. Go get, like, Moose Syncs or something like that instead. Start there. If you feel like you want more, then go get DJMax Respect. Especially since they've put the price up a little bit since it came out of early access. Not to mention the DLC, which added 8 songs. And then they released another DLC pack alongside it, which had another 20 songs we didn't get. But, well, the game's already got 100-something songs. I'm not going to complain. I'm just saying. It's kind of funny that they did that. It's like someone's going to start screaming, like, you should have given this to us for free because you developed it while it was in early access, and then someone else is going to scream that they're entitled, and then someone else is going to scream, will you both just shut up? I follow bullshit in the gaming industry too often. Anyway, good for fans, but if you're just a casual looking to pick up a good music game, I might recommend something else, just in general. Maybe pick up this one when you feel like you're ready to progress some more. Like, try out the DJMax games on the PSP. They emulate pretty damn well, and you can play them on keyboard. So, you know, get a mechanical keyboard and just come and join me in my clicky paradise. But yeah, nothing wrong with the game itself. If you're fine with just going and randoming songs and hoping that you don't get 15s, or even if you're not worried about progressing, although as far as I can tell, you can't play songs that you haven't unlocked yet in air mode, which is ridiculous. But if you don't mind doing that, yeah, it's okay, it's worth a pickup, but it's also like $50, $60, so, you know, tread a little bit lighter than you normally would. That's $60 Australian, by the way. It probably comes out to like $40 US or something. It's not bad, but I find nothing keeping me here. That's basically the long and the short of it. So I'm going to shut up and let you enjoy the rest of the music without talking over the top of it. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.
마시죠 이젠 더 이상 망설일 수 없어요 지금 우리가 함께한걸요 멈추지 않는 소리를 들어봐요 터질 것 같은 용기를 안 느껴요 부서지는 저기 햇살이 나를 반겨 날아오르게 포기할 수 없는 내 맘을 난 느껴요 할 수 Catching fire, you can make it. Nothing's minor. Every desire, you can get it if you want. Nothing's harder. Baby, let's over this. I'll make you have it. Let on your freedom in this moment.